Okay, so here I'm going to go over some common cannabis cultivars. And cultivars, we call them strains, varieties. Cultivar is probably the best term to use as it's botanically correct, because there are some great variability, and you can see here just the morphology of these plants, but there's other differences. So general cultivar overview. Well, while some highlights are provided in some cases, little is known about the origin of some of the cultivars I'm even going to present here. This shows the lack of definable, traceable family trees, which is why incorporating genetic testing is so important going forward. You can see here on some very commonly varieties, there's not a lot of great background information on them. Keep in mind also that the use of the term cultivar is a relatively new concept to cannabis, but it's botanically correct method and should be used at increased rates of adoption. So there's so many to choose from. More breeders are not only exchanging plant materials such as clones, but sharing what they produce. This increases the diversity of plants available, and part of the challenge is to have an accurate lineage record so we know where these plants came from or what resulting cross they may be. So general classifications, we can see our THC group and our CBD group. We're going to get to the CBD group and explain a little bit of kind of some of the issues with some of these varieties in the THC group. And I provide some links for some other information to kind of get some background on these in addition to what I provide. So first off, THC varieties, these are strains that produce a psychoactive high and commonly associated with marijuana. These that are high in THC are not the main focus of this class. We're going to be focusing again on that CBD and hemp varieties. However, there's common variety names that you may recognize. I want you to realize what is actually classified as marijuana and what is more of the hemp variety. So S.A.G.E, Sativa Afghan Genetic Equilibrium, is a high THC variety created by Adam Dunn. Is considered to be the main staple of TH seeds. Contains over 20% THC, so it's a very potent strain. Again, it's S.A.G.E, not sage as in the herb. Placed second in the 2001 Cannabis Cup, and more information presented here. This is what the sage plant and a kind of relating to a herb would look like. Not quite too similar to the sage in the cannabis variety, but that's, again, different derivative of that name. Blue Dream originated in California, even though the exact creator is unknown. So we get into this variety too, which again, high in THC. We're not going to focus on it in general, but I just want you to realize here we don't know the exact creator. It's become a West Coast legend, and we still don't even know who created it. Known for potency and high production. Sour Diesel established itself in the cannabis scene in the early 90s with increased interest on the East Coast in particular in the United States. The name originated by a grower who had a sour demeanor. It has nothing to do with this taste of the cultivar. So again, sometimes these names can be misleading. And again, even though this is in the marijuana classification, Sour Diesel, it's because the person was a sour person. Pungent odor when growing typically produces THC levels well above 20%. Purple Haze, buds have shades of lavender, which is part of the name derived comes from, known for high energy, creative, and blissful effects. Made popular in 1967 by Jimi Hendrix for the song Purple Haze, and yes, it does have this kind of purple coloration. These anthocyanins are much higher in Purple Haze, and also THC is high. Kush, OG Kush, is one of the most popular and potent strains in the world. It's a broad category, but in general you can expect Kush to have usually dense buds, rust-colored pistils. You see here that kind of brown coloration, a lemon fuel skunk and kind of spicy smell, smooth herbaceous flavor, and sedative effects. Again, also high in THC. Girl Scout Cookie, or being abbreviated now GSC, short for Girl Scout Cookie, which is a hybrid cross between the OG Kush and Durban Poison. Little is known about the origin other than it started in California fairly recently, 2011, 2012. And again, this just points to the fact that these names that become very popular, little is known about their origin. So this is increasing the kind of unknown and the variability that we have, even with some well-established, well-accepted variety names. Okay, then we get to ones that are low in THC. These low THC cultivars are ones that will not get you high. They don't produce very high amounts of THC. They're not going to get you in that psychoactive high. They may be considered low in THC. Often this is considered to be below 5% THC. But keep in mind, in order to be classified as hemp, the levels need to be less than 0.3% THC. So some arguing that federal maximum level of THC should be around 1%, as this will provide more cultivars to be used medically and still not produce the psychoactive high. So I have the picture of the limbos here, simply because we're looking at where is that bar, where should that bar be placed. Right now it's 0.3%, very low, so that's limiting the amount of cultivars. These next varieties I'm going to show are low in THC, meaning they're below, usually around about that 5%, but are not acceptable from the federal standpoint, so would still be classified as marijuana under the current law. So Cannatonic, while it's high in CBD, again this is the medical benefits, 6 to 17%, there is still enough THC not to be considered as cultivar as hemp. Typically has around that 6% THC, however it's still a highly regarded medical cultivar and has been used to treat pain and anxiety. But again, still above that federal level, well above that federal level, despite its high CBD production. So here we're looking at ACDC, and this cultivar is derived actually from Cannatonic. It has a ratio of THC to CBD of about 1 to 25. It's typically around half to 1.2% THC, which is still very low, but again, still above that federal limit. This unique ratio induces little to no intoxicating effects. It can still have the CBD percentage around 16 to 24%. However, typically tests just above that threshold for what's defined as hemp, so it's being replaced by Charlotte's Web. Again, ACDC, we have the band, we have ACDC in types of power conversion, also have some great links located below here. Now CBD varieties, hemp are high CBD and low THC, which is low THC is defined as less than 0.3% THC, are the main focus of this class. While there are many different varieties, I've chosen to highlight really just a few. Wife and Abacus are two examples of varieties being grown at UConn. So you see medical marijuana, the reason why I have that slash through it is it's kind of a misleading statement because marijuana is indicating of that high THC strain. We're focusing here on CBD and hemp varieties. So Charlotte's Web is probably the one that gets the most attention. Its biggest selling point is that it's classified as hemp since it is less than 0.3% THC and also still remains high in CBD. It has been shown to reduce seizures without any mental side effects. And its name is actually derived from a young girl whose name is Charlotte, who was having epileptic seizures and that were reduced with this cultivar, which has a web-like appearance. So Charlotte and Web, that's where it comes from. It's a relatively rare cultivar, but is highly sought after in the medical community, leading to increased attention. And I have some great links here to the article about it and some more information about Charlotte's Web if you want to learn more. So a variety here we're growing at UConn is entitled Wife, and this is a high CBD cultivar. It's high in CBD to THC ratio, and the exact genetics actually though do still remain mainly unknown as far as the lineage that it came from. It can be used for chronic pain and dealing with negative effects from chemotherapy. As I said, this is one of the varieties being grown here at UConn.